Aloha! Today we will be introducing our newest bar and grill that we have created. It is called Hang Loose. We chose to create a bar and grill on Oahu on the North Shore side of the island. We wanted to have a place that had a very relaxed feel to it. With this in mind, we all agreed that the best place to have our bar and grill would be on the North Shore. When you think about it, yes, Waikiki is the number one place for visitors, but everything in Waikiki is very pricey and it is just so busy. We wanted to step away from that atmosphere and build in an area that tailored to majority of locals who are looking for a good place to eat, for example, after a great morning of surfing, and also to the visitors who decide to venture out to the opposite side of the island. We decided on the name of our bar and grill to be Hang Loose. This is a slang of Hawaii that matches our goal, which is just to relax and enjoy while they are dining in with us.
Thank you, Sarah, for that wonderful introduction. So, as you can see at Hang Loose Bar and Grill, we are the owners, Sarah, myself, Rachel, and Hedwin. And now we're going to take a look at our menu. So this is the overall look of our menu. And Sarah will go into a little bit more detail about that.
Let's take a look at our menu offerings. Just overall, you notice there are very limited menu offerings. As we each learn through our in-person interviews from Field Study 2 with our groups, especially from the industry professionals, was that it's better to be able to have a few selections rather than there being a lot to choose from, because it can end up being very overwhelming for the customers. So we thought that we would keep it simple with a variety of local kind grinds that are most popular here on Oahu. You will also notice with the menu items that there are suggestions to pairings to guide our customers with the perfect drink for their menu item they would be ordering.
So now, Hedwin will be starting off with our appetizers.
For appetizer number 1, we decided to pair a steak salad with a red wine. We chose Merlot, which is a hearty red wine that pairs well with dishes like smoked meats, beef, barbecued burgers, spaghetti, and etc. These wines have substantial amount of tannins, enough to cut through the juiciness and fat of the meat. We also put a bed of salad underneath the steak for a refreshing taste and named the dish Broke the Mouth Greens. For appetizer number 2, we have a dish called Shrimp with an Asian Twist, which has fresh local shrimp and asparagus, stir-fried with Asian seasonings and fresh herbs. We decided to pair this dish with a beer from the Kona Brewing Company called Wailua Wheat. It typically pairs well with food like grilled fish and shrimp, roasted chicken, salads, and Asian foods. This golden, sun-colored ale has a bright citrus flavor that comes from the tropical passion fruit. It's a light and flexible beer comparable to a white, crisp wine, and pairs really well with our Asian-style shrimp stir-fry.
The third part to our appetizer selection is called the Case of the Munchies, and we chose a total of 4 different very basic menu selections, such as boiled peanuts and edamame, fresh sliced lihimui pineapple, and traditional potato chips. And this is tailored more towards those that aren't really interested in having a hearty appetizer, and they would rather just have something to munch on while they're enjoying some ice cold beers or glasses of wine with their friends and family.
Thank you, Hedwin and Sarah, for covering our appetizers. So now we'll be going on to our entrees. For our first entree, we have our omai uhu, which is a fresh cut uhu stuffed with lapchang or Chinese sausage, imitation crab, and green onions. It's baked to perfection and garnished with lemon juice and a side of steamed veggies and also a choice of mashed potatoes or rice. So our Oh My Uhu pairing suggestions include Pinot Noir, Pinot Grigio, and Riesling. So with Pinot Noir is a lighter red wine, kind of like a cranberry juice, so it's not as tart as regular full red wines. And Pinot Noir goes easily with things that are more rich and full. So since our Uhu is a more meaty fish, we thought Pinot Noir would go well with it to help cut the fattiness and richness of this dish. And same goes for the Riesling. We'd use one that's a bit in between a sweet and tannic or acidic taste. So not too sweet, not too acidic, to also help cut the fattiness of the uhu. With the Pinot Grigio, we'd be using like a type of dry rosé kind, so that it's a bit fruity, kind of sweet and tart to balance out the uhu and the lapchang and the other stuffings in the dish.
The second main dish that we have is our kalua, the pua'a, and slide. This name originates from one of our Hawaiian songs, Uwehe, Ami, and Slide. This dish consists of 3 tender and juicy, smoked to perfection kalua pork sliders on a sweet bun. It is garnished with pineapple slices, as we know as locals that at a luau there is always kalua pork and there is always pineapples. The kalua pork has a smoky flavor and salty flavor, while the pineapple counteracts with a sweet flavor. This dish will also be served with crispy fries, as burgers and fries are always the perfect combination. Some good pairing suggestions for this dish would be Pinot Noir, our traditional Mai Tai, and a bikini blonde lager. According to winemagazine.com, the Kalua pig needs a beverage with a lively acid, and moderate bubbles help to keep the palate refreshed. Pinot Noir would be a good choice as a red wine, as it has a light and delicate quality that works well with the pork. The traditional Mai Tai has a whiskey pineapple taste, so as we learned through our lectures, a good way to pair food with alcohol is by having like flavors, in which there are pineapples as a garnish for the dish and it is pineapple tasting drink. Also, as mentioned before, the traditional Mai Tai would pair well with the kalua pork sliders and french fries because they both give off a salty taste and the Mai Tai has a sweet taste. So put it together, sweet and salty is the perfect combination. And according to Wine Magazine, Maui Brewing Company's Bikini Blonde Lager would be also another great selection with the kalua pork, as it helps to highlight the smokiness of the meat.
Last but not least, Sarah and I will also be covering our desserts. So for our first dessert, we have our manini malasadas. So malasadas is definitely a Hawaii favorite, so we wanted to make sure that we included this on our menu. So for our manini malasadas, we have a choice between poi, guava, or strawberry-filled malasadas, which is Portuguese donuts, garnished with a light lilikoi drizzle and sugar, of course. Or you can have the lilikoi drizzle on the side, like what's in the picture, and also topped with lime zest and a sprig of mint. So as you can see, we have a lot of tropical flavors going on with this dessert, and it was so that newcomers could get a taste of what Hawaii really tasted like and kind of bring it home with the locals. So we thought that to pair our lychee cocktail would go well with the tropical flavors of our malasadas, so that our guests can try all types of those tropical flavors. However, we'd add a bit of lemon juice just to cut the sweetness of the lychee just a bit, and to also balance out all of the sweetness that's on the plate. For the Arnold Palmer, we thought it would also go well with our malasadas because we wouldn't have it sweetened. It'd be naturally unsweetened, with fresh lemons for the tartness. So the tartness of the lemons would help cut the sweetness and would be more of a refresher to wash down all that sugar.
The second dessert that we would offer at Hang Loose would be a Haupia Delight. This is one of our unique and signature desserts, as it is made completely of canoe crops. According to the images of Old Hawaii website, canoe crops are a group of crops that were brought to Hawaii by the early Polynesian settlers. This particular dish uses the following canoe crops: niu, also known as coconut, kalo, which is known as taro, and maia, which is known as banana. The Haupia Delight is a Hawaiian jello, also known as haupia, with a steamed kalo chunks, banana chunks, and it is then topped with shredded coconut that brings forth a Hawaiian mix to what many of us would know as a broken glass jello. I thought this would be a great dish because it has roots specifically to Hawaii. It is a very light dessert with a hint of sweetness and is completely unique and completely dependent on canoe crops that we technically don't need to import. The pairing suggestions for this would be fresh brewed Kona coffee and or island sweetened iced tea. I feel that this dessert wouldn't really go well with an alcoholic beverage. I felt that it would pair better with Hawaii grown and produced products. Through going through our fine dining class at Ka'ikena, we always offer desserts with coffee, and we learned that coffee, being a hot beverage, helps to aid in digestion. Being that both desserts and beverages are made with local grown products, it would be the perfect pair. The island sweetened iced tea would also be a great alternative for those of us that are not interested in coffee. It would be a sweetened brewed tea, which will give a great taste to the semi-sweet dessert. It helps balance it out and create the extra sweetness, which tops off your overall meal perfectly.
Thank you again, Sarah, for finishing up our desserts. Now, I will briefly go over our beverage menu. So on our beverage menu, we just wanted to keep it really simple and clean. As you can see, it's separated into 4 different sections: wines, which have the red wines and white wines, our beers, our cocktails, and our non-alcoholic beverages. And most of it is what you've already seen before from what we've talked about in our pairing suggestions. But I'll just be touching up a little on some of the drinks that we didn't cover in our suggestions. So like our Sauvignon Blanc and Moscato, both white wines, Moscato of course being a bit sweeter and the Sauvignon Blanc a bit drier. So Moscato, of course, others who try our dessert can also drink it with our Moscato. And the Sauvignon Blanc, since we have like a lot of meaty, or not meaty, but full hearty dishes to kind of balance that out as well. And for our beers, we have one more Kona Brewing beer, the Longboard Lager, because it's kind of an island favorite as well, so kind of to cater to our locals. Also Angry Orchard, which is the hard cider, which is I think it's a local favorite, one of my favorites actually as well. And with our cocktails, we've actually seen all those cocktails before: our lychee cocktail, traditional Mai Tai, Long Island iced tea. And for our non-alcoholic beverages, we have also included Hawaiian Sun, because that is also a big Hawaii favorite, so we thought we'd serve it in the can to make it easier for both us and our guests. And the flavors that we'd be carrying would be lilikoi, passion guava, and passion orange, mainly flavors that kind of stick out the most for Hawaii. Okay, so that covers our beverage menu, and now Sarah will discuss our cost inventory sheet.
For pricing for our bar menu, as a team, we decided to look at our competitors and see what they charge on their menu. We decided that we didn't want to be too cheap and lose profit, nor did we want to be too expensive and have no customers. We looked at menus from Cholos, as it is a profitable company on the North Shore side, as well as prices of Mai Tai bars. They have a very similar theme to our bar and could be seen as a competitor. The following is our breakdown for the cost and inventory for our beverages. First and foremost, we decided for our wine to use the Barefoot brand. This brand is a quality product but is more cost efficient. This means that profit will be greater for us. We also decided to just do wine by the glass and not offer bottles. Everything on our drink menu is 1 serving's worth. Barefoot fits more with our price range that we are shooting for. Being that we are more of a casual bar and grill, it wouldn't make sense to have top shelf wines at our establishment because it wouldn't fit with our menu items or other beverage selections. As you can see, for each of our wines, we are ranging anywhere from $4 to almost $5 in profit per glass, which is pretty good. As for the beers, we stayed with local beers and also stuck with a profit from anywhere from $3.47 up to $4.17 per bottle, which is a pretty good amount of profit. Also with the beers, we decided to stick with bottles. Although it would require strategic storage space, as we learned through our textbook, we felt that this would be the best because it would be much simpler to serve. As for the mixed drinks, we chose drinks that use similar base alcohols that could be used for multiple drinks requiring less alcohol types to be purchased and stored, such as vodka, rum, and gin. Each of our mixed drinks would make the best profit for us. As you can see, we would be able to make anywhere from $7 to $7.40 in profit per drink, especially for our Mai Tai and Long Island iced tea. And then lastly, for the non-alcoholic beverages, this also helped to keep our beverage costs down, especially for the coffee and iced tea. As you can see, it enabled us to create large quantities of each for each serving, which would obviously bring down our cost of goods and increase our profit. For our non-alcoholic drinks, our profit was anywhere between $1.33 to $3.45 per drink.
Alright, so that wraps up our project number 2. So just to recap, here is our Hang Loose Bar and Grill menu with our appetizers, entree, and desserts. And then here is our beverages with our wines, beers, cocktails, and non-alcoholic beverages. And then our lovely cost and inventory sheet. Oh, and also here is our references. So on behalf of Sarah, Hedwin, and myself, thank you for watching. Mahalo and ahui ho!